I'm Debbie Godfrey. Welcome to the Positive Parenting Pep Talks podcast.
Hello, today I want to talk about autocratic and democratic parenting. Autocratic parenting comes from a couple of hundred years ago when we lived in a kingdom and there was one ruler, so that's an autocratic ruler. And in those types of societies, how do we want to prepare our kids? How do we want to raise them? Well, we need them to be subservient. We need them to be obedient. We need them to do what they're told when they're told. We need them to be followers, and we don't need them speaking out or having their own ideas. Because what would happen in a kingdom if people were like that? Well, usually it was off with their heads. And so in that kind of a society, it was really important to use parenting skills and tools that would keep kids obedient and submissive. And many of those tools we're all familiar with: yelling, putting them down, humiliating them, spanking them, grounding them. All these kind of things all these types of parenting tools are ways to keep kids in line, keep them in check so that they don't become outspoken. Well, a couple of hundred years ago, we moved here to America to get our freedom. And we created a whole new society. We created a democracy. And the ideals of democracy is that everybody has a voice. Everybody's voice counts. And we have freedom as long as our freedom doesn't interfere with the rights of others. And we have expression, the First Amendment. We have all these ideals, and nobody ever updated the parenting skills. So for a couple of hundred years, we've still been preparing our children to live in a kingdom, and yet we're living in a democracy. And so it's only been in about the past 100 years that we've been looking at how would we want to raise kids to prepare them to be interdependent, to prepare them to be leaders and followers and know when to be which, to prepare everybody to think that they matter and that their vote counts and that what they think is important. So some of those parenting skills and tools have to do with asking them a lot of questions. So making sure that they learn to think on their own and that they learn critical thinking. So even inviting them to disagree would be a way to get a child to learn that their voice matters and their vote counts. So there's a lot of different ways that we can kind of enhance the democratic ideal while still maintaining order and sanity in our home. Because I know that's the big concern, is that once we allow them to start thinking for themselves, then we start losing our influence. But actually the opposite is true. When we start operating in a democratic way at home, the kids actually tend to do better because now they're involved in the decision making. And so when you do make agreements, they tend to keep them. They're more likely to keep them than when they're just told what to do. And you'll find that the kids are really good at this. They're good at creating win-win situations. They're good at negotiating fair settlements. And when they don't, most of the time they'll be able to handle either consequences or be held accountable for what they did and be able to do a makeup and to make the situation better and improve for the next time. Some of the great democratic parenting tools also involve letting them see how much they can do, being involved in the decision making, acknowledging them for what they've done, acknowledging them for their effort and the amount of time and brain work that they put into something. And tomorrow what I want to talk about are some of the other ways we can take care of ourselves in the democratic process too, which is going to be really, really important. So have a great day and happy parenting.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Positive Parenting Pep Talks podcast. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Debbie Godfrey, owner and founder of positiveparenting.com. I hope you'll go and check out my website and follow me on Instagram and let me know about what you thought about today's episode. Did you learn something new? Were you able to do something different with your children? Did you have a success story? Those are my favorite to share. Let me know. Contact me. I'd love to hear from you. And also, what future topics would you be interested in hearing about on the Positive Parenting Pep Talks podcast? Thank you so much for being here and for all of your support. Take care and happy parenting.